Greetings. I think it was about a year ago that NPR had a very extensive radio program where they were really looking at this topic of free speech. And they promoted this idea that free speech is pretty much dangerous and it's kind of racist. So we want to just kind of get rid of free speech. We can't really trust ourselves with it, trust our own minds. Some of this speech, some of these ideas are just so powerful that if they get out there in the gullible minds of the Americans, it's just going to really influence their behavior. They're just going to start doing crazy things. If they see the wrong meme or hear Matt Taibbi ask a question about a vaccine or something like, then that's it. They're done. They're out of their minds. They're never going to be able to make rational decisions about vaccines again because somebody asked a question. That's a huge problem that we think people are so naive that they can't handle speech. That's one huge problem with all these arguments against free speech. But another real problem about it is that we just have to get rid of speech. Some speech is so bad that we have to get rid of it. And there's a lot of speech I disagree with. There's a lot of words I think are really heinous, and I wish they'd never been said. But I mean, what you do with bad speech is not ban it. Don't get rid of it. Also, whose rights are being violated when things are banned and pushed away? It's not just the rights of the speaker, the person saying it. It's the rights of everyone else to see it. If there's a bad idea, something heinous going around out there, I'd like to see what it was, what somebody said for myself, judge it for myself, right? I don't want to hear a filtered critique of what the person said. I'd rather just see what they said. And kind of what the media is trying to do now is they want to be able to just print you or just give you only their filtered version of what was said. And let's not even bother with the real details of what was said in the free speech. Let's just condemn it all as speech, as bad speech, kind of based on who said it, right? More, again, back to the personality politics and not dealing with the content of what was said. And this is going to such extreme places now. This idea of, and again, hardly anyone from the left or any mainstream media outlet has come out and said, well, speech can be scary, but again, let's don't censor. Let's fight bad speech with good speech, right? No one's saying that. They're all saying, yeah, oh boy, that's dangerous. We need to block those tweets. We need to take that person down. Isn't it good that they're all no longer present anymore? They're just gone. Where are they? Where's Cornel West? He's a radical, crazy. Can't have him. Where is Cornel West? He's been removed, right, from the dialogue. But anyway, so this idea and where it's going now is that we're looking at things is if the source of it, if it came from a white male or from the Enlightenment or some period like that was, we consider, that's also racist, saying that the Enlightenment is exclusively Western phenomenon or came out from only white males. There's a lot of Arabic thinkers and scholars at the time. A lot of our planets are named by, Arabic scholars, right? Algebra, But anyway, this idea, though, is that kind of like the Enlightenment, it's just a bunch of stuffy white guys. So you should just kind of throw it all away. Just don't pay attention to anything if it's too white, too male, right? And so that's really a horrible notion because it does discount the contributions of Africans and Arabic people to our Enlightenment. A lot of ideas that came out of our Enlightenment were not just from white people. It was a global world back then to some extent, and ideas were going around. So give more credit to people who contributed to the Enlightenment besides just white people. And also, even if the white people it was only just white people, it was just one, white dominating white man, who created the whole Enlightenment. It still was the Enlightenment. It was the thing that preceded other things and led to other things. So you'd still want to look at it. You'd still want to analyze it. And if it's so bad and dangerous, boy, you really want to look at it, right? Because if you try to put it back in a closet or try to bury it, then we know it's worse. It gets, it's like the speech becomes a martyr. It's got a martyr status. It goes underground and reverberates back around. In other words, you can't get rid of it. Trying to ban speech is also futile. So I guess it's just really sad that NPR took this angle and had all these cute sounding intellectuals on talking about mental harm that came from words and stuff like that. Words can harm, but actually they can't, right? If I'm just out there talking words on the street and somebody's walking by and they don't understand English, they're not really gonna. In other words, it requires some intermediating mental faculty that for those words to then become harmful. Do you know what I mean? Um, and of course, I'm not denying that mental abuse doesn't happen. It's bad. It happens a lot, you know. But there's lots of things that I just wish weren't ever said, like I said. But if I'm going to go about banning that or blocking it, where does it stop? Who gets to make the call? Where does it stop? So it's really disconcerting that free speech has taken such a hit in our modern times, and that so many leftists have decided to completely abandon it in favor of censorship. Censorship is kind of the new thing right now. Everybody loves the idea that it just feels good when you get rid of Trump, right? It feels good inside to think he's not going to be able to tweet anymore. That's a good feeling emotionally, right? It's a great emotional feeling to think that some white guy out there was trying to say something and he just got slapped down because of his skin tone and just get back, white man, shut up, right? Feels good, especially if you feel like you've been abused by white men or they've been mansplained to too much or something like that. So now you just, feels good for you to slap down the white man. You know what I mean? That felt great. But is it the way to really go about promoting better speech in society, better ideas? There's also the idea of the marketplace of ideas. And that's what I favor, right? We had a big event. I had to vote on this. I had to be a part of this at Cal State Fullerton, where these actual people with swastika flag wanted to have a table at one of our activity days, and there was a big discussion. It was a really good discussion, and I think what we kind of went for was that the swastika itself. You know what I mean? Could you keep that back? And then you can have your table and promote your ideas. I guess if you're promoting fascism, I forget what they were promoting, but we said that it was better to let them have their table there. That was better rather than blocking that group, banning that group. That we should let them have their table there, but then be ready to speak about why that's dangerous or why we don't agree with that or why it doesn't reflect the university as a whole. Right. So right next to the fascist table, you have an anarchist table, and you have a socialist table, and you have a reformed capitalist table. You have all these different tables, whatever. They're all out there. It's a marketplace of ideas. And I can stop by your table, and you can stop by mine. We can talk. We're not going to hurt each other. We're not going to lay a hand on each other. We've got these ideas that we're talking about. That's speech. We're limiting it to just a speech. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to promoting free speech. Okay. Be on the right side of this. Censorship is not good. If there's an idea you don't like or words you don't like, or if you think ivermectin is just a horse dewormer, okay, that's fine for you to think that. And it's fine for you to argue that with other people. But for you to try to just censor the people that say, no, I actually was healed by ivermectin. It actually worked for me. I went to a doctor. I took ivermectin. It was helpful for me. I liked it, right? So you don't want to ban that speech. You want to speak against it or speak to it or agree with it or something like that. But don't ban it, okay? Stop this NPR neatness, this little collegiate voice of it's good to censorship things because speech is dangerous. No, that's bad. That's lame. Get back on the right side, the side of free speech.